Yeah, we're gonna have to. Alright. Peg it. Put the backpack back on. It's best to have the insides of the hands cavities folded in. Aesthetically, it looks better, and it fits nice and snug. It's the only way it fits. There's barely any room to be getting around any kind of parts. It is difficult. It's not smooth sailing the whole time. But this guy fits real snug. So that is a plus. So in some cases, a little too snug, if there were ever such a thing. Alright, so this is what the top of the torso for Bruticus looks like. Next, we're going to go ahead, set him to the side momentarily. This is the back of the trailer for Bruticus that will make up his upper thighs and his waist and abdomen area. So first things first, these little ramps on the ends, we're going to take these, fold them down, and then just down, and that's it. Then these little green pieces, we're going to fold these panels up to reveal these little pegs, which end up being the thigh to kneecap connector ports. We will just fold these. They have tabs, two that tab in to these slots up top. Nice and secure. Now that these connector ports have come out of here from folding these up, we will fold down these panels. And back here, there's this little piece. We want to fold this gray piece up. And then we will split the legs. And these pieces will connect together. As you see, there's a male connector, female connector, and they connect in the middle. And that helps stabilize it that much better. The way I like to just do it, we need to bring these legs down. Just hold it there in the center so you're not just like pulling it out. And then again, just fold it all the way down, straighten it out, and then give it a nice squeeze. Give it a good squeeze, and then connect this gray piece that we flipped up. Will help secure and lock everything into place. Just push it down at the same time as to not stress this tiny thin little hinge that Orbitron seems to be an enormous fan of. I don't know if it's their sneaky way of being able to sell people replacement parts or what. It's a damn shame. Scares the hell out of me. Alright. So that was easy. That was super quick. Those are the lower legs. We're going to take the top torso of our knot slot, who is now becoming Bruticus. We will connect these two big fat daddy ports into them fat mama holes. And then there we have the torso and waist area for Bruticus. Now, that being done, I may as well go ahead and get this taken care of. These back cannons. Let me put this guy down for a moment. Alright, so these things are cool. I love their design. They peg in a little bit of a gap there. They could have made that a little better, but hey, you know, I'm not making the toys, so I can't really talk. I probably couldn't have done any better with my abilities as of right now. But yeah, so anyway, these things are sweet. They got little handles and such, you know, to second as weapons for our onslaught, all that goodness. These are little wing flaps. I like to have them extended. I feel like it just looks better, and they have such nice little details. Paint apps all over the place, by the way. I'm not sure if I mentioned that to begin with, but this thing is just chock full of them. There's not any area in any accessory or any part of this toy that has been neglected. I mean, there is just paint thrown all over this guy, and I love it. Love it so much that I might even be able to overlook the damn ankle tilts. But that bothers the shit out of me. Anyway, so what I was saying to begin with is these things come in the package all the way in their lowest setting, you know, and to be able to pull these out, I had to unscrew every single screw on this thing just to pull it out, because if you try and just tug on it with all your might, and I don't know how widespread this is going to be, you know, your mileage may vary rather, you know, just depending on the figure that you get, you know, and you might luck out and not have these problems that I did, but mine would not come out. It was very similar to the way that Brawl's arms are, where you had to loosen it up. What I ended up doing was I, you know, loosened it up, I pulled them out, extended them, and I tightened them back up, because I'm never going to have them in that lowest setting. I'm never, ever, ever, ever going to have them in that lowest setting. And from this setting, I can even pull it out, but I dare not, you know, put them all the way in fear that I would have to, you know, loosen all the screws just to be able to deploy the cannons further. And I like the tallest setting. I think it looks a lot better that way. You know, it's just an aesthetic liking to me. And then they also allow you to fold them so that they can, you know, while they're on his back, you know, they can aim out or wherever you want. I mean, it's really neat. I like it. I dig it. I dig it a lot. So just a moment here. I'm going to retab these suckers back in. And I'm going to be popping them on Bruticus's back. Let me adjust the height so that they are similar in size. Okay, that's about spot on. I'm going to, and then another reason why I like to push him in at least that much is so, you know, as I like the fact that he has the ability to tilt his cannons forward and back, this helps secure that they won't be flopping or moving around. They're just, you know, in a static position. You know, I like that a little more, personally. It's all just about personal taste. There's two pegs, peg into his back. And when he's in Onslaught, I'm going to get more into this whenever I do the Onslaught video, but that's what these 4 little slots are for, is in Onslaught's robot mode, he has 4 little tabs on his back, so there's no like fan moding or modding or anything required for you to have some sweet ass back cannons on your knot slot. Is not necessary. They got you covered. And that's awesome. I dig it so much. It's awesome. But anyway, so now that this is on there we go, nice and tight. Bam. That shit is coming together pretty great. It's looking awesome. I love it. So I'm going to put this to the side because the table is about to be getting crowded. I'm going to begin with the legs, mainly because that'll give Bruticus something to stand on, you know, while we do the arms. He just look goofy with his arms done. I already got these guys in their limb modes. You know, obviously for Brawl and Swindle here is very simple. You know, that's really all you gotta do. You gotta put them in their vehicle mode and then just take the front of the vehicle modes and reveal the port. Bam, it's done. The best way to go about getting these guys' feet on I found for Swindle here, you know, just remove his weaponry just so that you don't have to worry about it falling out, because it very well might, and then you gotta go finding it on the floor. What I like to do is I untab these door panels. Personally, I have not gotten any stress marks on these yet, and I want to keep it that way. Swindle is definitely one of my top top 3 in the set. I really dig it. You know, he's really awesome, and I just think it's easier. If you keep these, you know, pegged in while you go to split this, you run the risk of putting more stress on these tiny thin panels, and you're just asking for it. You're asking for your toy to get broke. I'm just saying. But yeah, so you're just gonna take this, gonna split it, and then these little I'm not sure if you can see this here, but there's little grooves where this big hole will sit, and they will kind of sandwich on top of that, and it's actually very secure. I mean, there is no fear of this thing coming apart at any point. Very nice. I love it. Compared to some other combiners that I messed around with, this is by far much more secure. I do apologize. I just put that on backwards. It's been a long day. It is super late and I am super tired. So I am so sorry. There we go. So let's give that a nice good squeeze. Bam! It's good to go. From here, now I like to close the door panels. You know, I like to do these at the same time to try and distribute the stress evenly between the door panels as to not cause anything to have more stress than the other side, possibly get stress marks and ultimately break, like the ankle tilts, you know, because those were so well made, because, you know, translucent plastic is obviously stronger than full solid plastic. I mean, duh. Everyone knows that. Alright, so peg these back in, get them out of the way. It's awesome. I mean, it's really hard to tell how great these things really do work until we get it all plugged into place. I personally did see the pictures where these cannons were facing forward, and when I first got this guy and started putting them all together in combined mode, I did, you know, put these cannons to the front. Unfortunately, that did force him to lose some mobility in his forward ankle tilt. It totally just blocked it, and it would not allow for a lot of his ankle swivel. It would just block it, whereas when it's in the back like that, you can just drop it. And it's got a nice ratcheted ankle swivel. I mean, like, every aspect, any kind of way that you could possibly move this is ratcheted, which is really nice. Yeah, he's got a toe pivot, and it's very solid. It's not ratcheted, I'm sorry, I was incorrect about that. But then, like, you know, a lot of other things are ratcheted. Forward and back tilt is ratcheted. It's very, very solid. That is very tight. I'm not worried about that ever breaking. The only thing I am worried about breaking is that damn inner ankle tilt. Hate that so much. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Alright, for Brawl, he's even easier than Swindle. You know, you don't have to worry about no door panels. Just pop off the top turret. This makes things a hell of a lot easier. Untab this middle area so that we don't damage anything. What I find easiest is to tilt this forward to allow the hands to come out. And with that out of the way, we don't have to worry about any extra stress being placed on the hands or on the arms. I don't want anything to break. These toys cost way too damn much. I can't afford to buy another set. If I do have to replace anything, I'll probably just buy some KOs from Wukong one day, if they ever do come out with the whole set. I did see that they're thinking about making them, but, you know, who knows, honestly. But hopefully, you know, we'll get replacement parts for that inner ankle tilt, excuse me, and you know, hopefully I don't even have to go that route, because I would like to continue purchasing just from Warbotron, giving them all my business. I buy every single figure that they've released so far, and I really like the way they're doing things. Maybe not so much their social elusiveness, but I do like their figures. I do like their engineering. I like most of their quality on their products, but not on everything. And this is what I was also talking about the screws being stripped because they tighten them too much. As you can see, I can just pull here and this thing starts to come apart. And it's because one of the inner screws was tightened way too much, just like on the gun from the beginning of the video. You know, and it's just a matter of me, you know, just squeezing it together so that I don't have to look at it, but I know it's there, and that does disappoint me. You know, I really wish that Warbotron would have been able to work out some of these extra little tolerance issues and things of that nature before releasing these products and charging me, you know, masterpiece prices on these damn figures. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, nothing is going to be perfect. I understand that. You know, I know that Hasbro and Takara even release things that are far from perfect. So, that's just the way the game is. But honestly, I love these things. This is a really amazing set. But I'm not going to badmouth this guy anymore. We're going to just continue with this. So I like to just tuck in the hands, you know, just fold up the torso. Folds it all up at the same time. Tab in this baby, lock it all into place, lock in the treads. Booyah. And booyah. Oh yeah. Sleep deprivation is the best. Tab in the turret. Alright, so there we go. That's both of these, and this is the foot with the broken ankle tilt, and this one's about to go. In the morning, I will be replacing these, but as you can see, the ankle tilt here is pretty loose. I mean, it still holds, but not like it needs to be doing. You know, and I know that, you know, with other masterpieces that I have, you know, the ankle tilts aren't ratcheted by any means, but on a figure this big, it could be potentially problematic, and we're gonna find that out together as we continue on with this review. Because the ankle tilt breaking recently happened, so I've not been able to test that out. So both of the feet are done. We are now going to take Bruticus and connect his legs. So here we go. On the back of these legs, they have that that spring-loaded tab number again. That, you know, you put them in, push them all the way in, and they catch hold of these slots right here in the leg connector ports. So these things are probably like the hardest limbs to get on, just because you have to apply so much force, and you know, it is hard to get a grip on it. You know, you could wrap your fist around the toy, but then I've always get paranoid that I'm gonna break something, God forbid, like a tab or a wing or something like that. The safest thing to do, I think, instead of just like grabbing it and trying to push on it, I just like to grab it and just push down, downward motion. I know that could be potentially very dangerous on the ratchets and everything else, but I don't see another way being any easier, really, without possibly breaking something else. So I'm gonna get this tank turret out of the way. I'm gonna do these things one at a time. Pushing these things in does make things a little easier, but not that much, because then you get towards the middle and it is a little difficult. All these little wheels and things are in the way, and there we go. Heard a nice tiny little click, so that means that yes, indeed, she is in the port. Nice and good. And something to note, while these things are very difficult to get on, they are twice as difficult to get off. Literally, if you ever plan on switching between modes, like combined to robot to vehicle mode regularly, just make sure you got a partner next to you. You know, grab your girlfriend, grab your wife, grab your kids, grab somebody to be your assistant, because literally, unless you're an octopus, you are not going to be able to get this done. Unless you can like use your feet and your hands to like pull and tug on different things at the same time, because the only way to remove this connector port is to take something like a flathead standard screwdriver and push down on that peg port while pulling on this and pulling on that to separate it, while keeping pressure on that tab. Because if you just try and like pull it apart, you're gonna break something straight up. I mean, it's like really in there, really good, and I would not recommend it. I tugged and tugged, and I wasn't trying to break my toy, so the only way I was successfully able to remove the port was to, you know, use a screwdriver, grab a helping hand, and get it done, man. That was it. That was what had to be done. So again, you could push down with all your might. I feel like it's a little safer to push it in a little bit to get it started, and then continue on from there. So that's what I'm gonna do. Come on. Come on. Work with me. There we go. While we're here, let's go ahead and test this ankle tilt problem. Okay, so here we go. The tilt, it's tilting, and to be honest, with the little felts under it on a flat surface, I don't see this being a problem. There's so many other ratchets and things going on that I dare say he would have not that much of a trouble holding himself in place. And even with on this side, you know, this one's about to go out one day. Unless it already did just now. It sure sounded loud as hell. No, but the stress mark is getting bigger. So it's just a matter of time. You know, when it does break, I'll replace it then. Until that day, though, I'm not worried about this guy falling over with his loose ankle tiltage here. I think it supports where it needs to. I mean, it doesn't stay 100% flat or anything, but if I were to extend this, yeah, he's fine. With those little felts that come with this, he can hold super wide stances, and he's not going to fall. Are you seeing this? I mean, he could pretty much almost do a split with a broken ankle tilt, and he's 100% okay. I don't know. I think that's impressive, personally. Personally, that's very impressive. I feel as if I'm no longer that sad that ankle tilt broke, to be honest. It's the least of my concerns now. It's very relieving. Okay. I'm going to put Bruticus on the side for now while I show you guys the hands. I mean, if you guys put together a third-party combiner before, you guys have done one, you've pretty much done them all. Pretty much. These hands, they got little holes. In some cases, it's a peg. And what we do is we split the forearm in half and we sandwich the hand on there. Just take this. There's a little cavity in there, almost like a little hole. And it just fits up in here. And there's an opposing side is just the same, another cavity. Just sandwich it in. That's it. That is literally all you do. And I know that you guys might be watching this. You're probably wondering, you know, why I did it this way. Originally, you know, I saw Emgo do something where he had this on the top. Unfortunately, because this goes up there, it does not allow the rocket boosters to be up far enough for this hand to be there. You see how it gets in the way. And yeah, so it just didn't work on the top of his forearm. So what I had to do was I had to flip it upside down. And this would have to be on the bottom. And then I just took the wings and flapped it around his forearm. And I think it fills it out. It makes it look cool. Personally, I like it. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but you know, I mean, I dig it. I think it looks pretty sweet. But yeah, so that's one arm. And I'm not sure if everyone is aware or not, but you do get a replacement torso for Blastoff here. I actually had to install the replacement as soon as I got it. I did have a version 2, however, the combiner peg was so tight on mine that literally, like, on Bruticus, I don't know if you guys recall how it locked into place on the back of his shoulder. Literally, the force that it took for this just to rotate within the combiner port socket, it was attempting to move the shoulder that was locked into place in 2 different areas. So it was potentially very damaging to my figure, and it took almost a whole hour to unscrew every single screw in this figure so that I could attach the legs on top of these ratchets. But you do get replacement hip ratchets, and the ones on mine were soft ratchet, and these are nice clickety-clackety ratchets. So, if your, Blastoff isn't 100% perfect, go ahead and just replace the torso and waist areas. I mean, you got nothing to lose, and it's so much better for your figure and promoting the life of your figure, really, the longevity of how long it'll last, versus if you just say, oh man, well, I'll just do this another day, and then the next day you go to mess around with it and the shoulder rips off of it, and there you go, you're out $150. You gotta order another one. Just don't do it, man. Just play it safe. I'm telling you, you better safe than sorry. I'm just saying. It's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. So yeah, these hands though, they're really awesome. I was really surprised. I thought it was only gonna be 2 joints, but actually you even got that third one. Well, you do got the 2 joints. Well, technically 3, I guess. It's articulated just like a human finger would be, You got 3 different segments, and they're very solid. I mean, they're almost extremely tight to move, and that's great, especially for holding weapons. I was playing with my son, playing with some Legends figures with him, holding, little bots hostage, crushing the sparks out of them, all kinds of stuff. It was great, man. These hands were built to shake mountains. I mean, they're impressive. I did think because of this little area that they ratcheted out and in, but that's incorrect. I do not believe that they move here at all. I just think that that was an aesthetic look that the designers went with. Here on the thumb, you have a ball joint, and you don't have that 3rd segment here. It's just segmented right there. So it moves up and down, and this is just one little piece on the end. But I mean, still, that's more than you could ask for. I mean, not more than you could ask for. You could ask for anything. You could ask for everything. But that's more than anyone needs. It's perfect. And another neat thing, I'm not sure if I pointed this out before, But these hands, the fingers, they're not all just the same size. They actually do resemble a human hand, a humanoid hand in a sense. The pinky's a little smaller, the middle finger is longer. These two fingers are roughly the same size. I mean, they went all out with how they picked out the details and, you know, decided to reflect them. It's very impressive. And they're very strong too. I mean, when they go to hold a pose and things of that nature, they actually lock out. They go out this far. So I could definitely see when you go and move all these fingers out to their maximum outward positions, how he could do a handstand. In fact, I will attempt to show you guys a shot of Bruticus doing a handstand, just to make sure that it's possible and that those pictures that we saw online weren't just, you know, someone spending an hour to just balance him perfectly. And then, I mean, if it's possible, I'll let you know. How about that? But alright, enough talking. Gone on too long about randomness. Here we go. So for Vortex, just split him in half, and same deal. In fact, he's actually got in his cavity a little peg in there to help secure this as well. And this just goes in there, and it actually fits extremely nicely and securely. And from here, we just peg it all together, sandwich it, just like Airburst. Booyakasha. This one's actually very tight. Not a problem. It is tight. Alright, cool. There we go. Give it a nice good squeeze. And now we will attach these sweet iron fists to our Bruticus. And here we go. To reveal the combiner port here, I know that this guy just grew. He got super big. First things first, when we come over here, we want to flip this open, rotate this out, fold this in. If you try and just yank it up from its seated position, you do risk of popping this out. These are just in a friction kind of joint, but you do risk breaking them if you just yank this up, just so you know. And these are actually not that hard to get out, but once you get up to this point, it does start to ratchet out. And they're very nice and tight ratchets. They are not weak by any means. And then you just fold this back down to cover that little area up.